Greetings, clanmates. Dapplebriar here, and today we will be discussing Bramblestar and why he's a terrible leader and an even worse mate. Okay, so let's address Bramblestar as a leader. Initially, I have to admit, I really enjoyed Bramblestar's character. In the beginning, he was a hard-working, loyal, and determined young paw just trying to prove that he was not his father. To prove to his clan that they could trust him. His youth and apprenticeship was very interesting as a story. Then, things got a little mixed up when enter Squirrel. They started butting heads all the time. It was actually a very interesting developing relationship at first. In some sense, it was realistic and rather different from the dynamic between two characters than we've ever seen before. He was being thick-headed, but he was absolutely not a bad character. Yet, on the journey to the Sundrown Place, Bramblestar displayed actually excellent leadership qualities. His character was interesting, well thought out, and definitely at the time a good candidate for leadership. As the story progressed, though, there was more struggle, between Bramblestar struggling with his loyalty to his clan and the dark ambitions his father was whispering to him in his dreams. So much for all that hard work proving to his clan that he could be trusted. Even his struggle between killing Firestar and not was great. I think it needed to happen so he could finally 100% prove his loyalty and Firestar could finally 100% trust him. He ultimately made the right choice, though it was a struggle. He was decent in his deputyship too, though less prominent a character. But the real trouble started when he became clan leader. I was excited. I thought that finally, Bramblestar would step back into the spotlight and it would be his time to shine, as he had on the journey to find a new home. But it wasn't like that at all. Suddenly he seemed unsure and his character was shaken all to hell. It seemed like everything he was doing was what he believed Firestar would do and not what Bramblestar would do. As though he had no confidence in himself anymore or didn't believe he could fill such huge paw prints. Or thought this was what would be best for his clanmates, as obviously Firestar had been such an accomplished leader. His character became bland and dull and carbon copy-ish. Not even a rounded character like Firestar had been, just uninspired and robotic almost. His character became dry and uninteresting, and he was, and has been, a horrible leader. Even when Firestar wasn't the main focus, there was always something, some decision, some characterization, personality quirk, or heartwarming or interesting moment that kept his character at the forefront, noticeable, enjoyed, and well-loved. That wasn't the case with Bramblestar. He became such a bleh and boring background face that I never paid him any mind and even occasionally didn't remember he was there at all till he spoke or something. The new twists with someone kicking him out of his own body is the most interesting Bramblestar, or not so Bramblestar, move in a long time. Though I'm not sure why his clan's surprised he's lazing around in the den and never seen. He did that a lot before too, and was rarely seen on patrols or in camp. Honestly, with the route his character was taken, I will not be sad if he does not live through this arc. What I am most sad about is wasted potential, similar to my dislike for Lion Blaze too. Now on to address the other issue, a major issue, Bramblestar as a mate. Now I'm about to state something highly controversial. I absolutely despise Bramblestar and Squirrel as a couple. I think they are probably one of the worst couples ever, in my opinion. Just behind the worst being Thistleclaw and Spotted Leaf, gag, as well as Rainflower and Shellheart and Moonflower and Stormtail. Not right for one another in the least. While I initially enjoyed their bantering and shared feelings, it got old fast. I grew up in a household where my parents were always fighting, and seeing it come to fruition in the book was extremely uncomfortable. I believe 100% that Bramblestar treated Squirrel like complete crap, and it was not a good message to send to kids. Oh yes, these characters who fight constantly and one treats the other like complete rubbish are absolutely destined to be! Remember kids, if your man treats you like crap, he's the one! Blech, no. I think they never should have been together, and definitely not after the whole situation with the three. He was absolutely horrid to Squirrel. Quick segue, he's not exactly the best father either. He treated the three like his own for a while, which was nice, but then never treated them the same after the secret came out, and he was never that loving and doting father to Alderheart and Sparkpelt that he was to the 3 originally. Seems like something else he lost confidence in. Anyways, something really weird I found was when The Last Hope was originally released. I would swear up and down at the end he said to Squirrelflight, "I want you by my side as my deputy and as my mate." But when I bought the book for myself much later, there was nothing about mates in it. He just asked her to be his deputy. But I can't find anything about this online. I can't even find the old book. Which leads into Bramblestar's storm. He was not mates with Squirrelflight, and things were still tense between them somewhat despite his warm invite for her to become his deputy. And it got even worse when Jessy came into the picture. Bramblestar fell for Jessy fast. I don't blame him. Jessy was a character that I quite enjoyed. I wouldn't have minded if those two had become mates, but as it was, Bramblestar felt conflict between Squirrelflight and Jessy. This persisted through a lot of the book. But my problem was near the end. He was going to try to convince Jessy to stay. He clearly wanted to be with her. He was choosing Jessy. But it was Jessy who convinced him that he loves Squirrelflight more and he should be with her. And then she left. Bramblestar watched her go sadly, knowing he'd likely never see her again, so he went home to make up with Squirrelflight. Boo! I absolutely hated that! He was going to pick Jessy. The only reason he picked Squirrelflight was because Jessy told him to, and then left. I will say it again. I hate Bramblestar and Squirrelflight as a couple. Just blech. There were so many better options. I mean, as a paw, Squirrelflight had a close relationship with the apprentice Shrewpaw. I very much shipped them when he was alive. He was a pretty great character. And then, of course, there was Ashfur. While I don't agree with his vengeful actions because Squirrelflight chose Brambleclaw, I don't blame him either. He could see plain as day how badly Brambleclaw treated Squirrelflight. He was always there for her to listen to her vent, and he was always very kind and caring towards her. Hell, before all that drama, he was a really great cat. He bravely helped on a leg of the dog run in the old forest, and he was friends with Brambleclaw before Squirrelflight came along. He was a hard-working, courageous, and loyal cat, and he definitely treated Squirrelflight a whole lot better than Brambleclaw initially. I think a lot of mess could have been avoided had she chosen him. I mean, Jayfeather even resembled him more than any of the kits resembled Bramblestar. He would have been way closer with Limeblaze, and he would have raised the kits right as his own. Hollyleaf would never have become a murderer and run away. Maybe Bramblestar would focus on being a good leader, or be the one to turn bad. Who knows? I don't even think Ashfur would be as angry with Squirrelflight for lying as Bramblestar had been, if she did at all. I think she felt she could tell Ashfur a lot more than Brambleclaw, because Brambleclaw was always so unreasonable in his reactions. Honestly, I could have even put up with a forbidden romance between her and Stormfur. Obviously he liked her and admired her greatly. Firestar and Greystripe's children together? I would have appreciated that story a lot more than Firestar and Tigerstar's children together. And I definitely believe Bramblestar would have meshed better with Jessy, or literally anyone else other than Squirrelflight. Come on! Anyways, yeah. Overall, I really very much dislike Bramblestar's character. As a leader, he became bland, boring, and uncertain, only trying to make every decision he thought Firestar would have, while failing to realize that he was one of Firestar's decisions, and Firestar chose him for a reason. He had faith in Bramblestar's capabilities. He chose Bramblestar over his best friend, but Bramblestar became a husk of his former character, if even that. And he's not the leader anyone expected him to be. And yeah, even more than that, Bramblestar is a horrid mate. He treats Squirrelflight poorly, even to date, with the whole issue with the sisters and whatnot. I'm honestly kind of pleased he was booted out of his body for a bit. Maybe he'll get his priorities in order. Anywho, this has been Dapplebriar saying farewell for now, clanmates, and may StarClan light your paths. Bye! And my cat's making noise. Yet on the journey to the Sundrown Place, Bramblestar he ultimately made the right Rice? Apparently Bramblestar makes rice! Honestly, with the route, his character... Oh my god. Excuse me. Now, I'm not about to state something highly... I am about to state something. Not about to. I am about to state something highly controversial. Despite his warm invite for him to be... Squirrel Flight is a dude now. Great. If she did it... Wait, what? Oh. Ha! Ha! I can read, I swear. Ha! Honestly, I could have even put up with the forbidden romance between her and all of that good old forbidden crap. Yes. Okay.